Okay, so this is the vlog I'm making about my continued survival and recovery from being with a borderline. I was in a relationship with a woman whom I believe has quiet borderline personality disorder. I came to that conclusion not because I was looking to diagnose her with anything, but because in the middle of all of it, it was so, I was in so much pain and I was in so much confusion, I started doubting my sanity. I'd never experienced anything like it before, and it didn't make any sense, and it was really painful. And I was this anxiety in me was starting to build to the level where my work was suffering, my health was suffering, and my sanity was suffering. And so I went and researched because something popped into my mind. I had heard about borderline personality disorder, off and on, and didn't really know what it was, but I had heard enough that there were things that she was doing that I had never experienced that I thought, I wonder if that's borderline. And I went and researched borderline and found out that yes, the symptoms and the actions and the behavior was classic borderline. And once I looked into it and found out the causes, it all made perfect sense. So let's talk about what causes borderline. Borderline is caused in early childhood. By early childhood, I mean infanthood, like from 0 to 4 years of age, when a child is developing their personality. This is the most important phase, especially around age 2. That during this time they may go through tremendous neglect, abuse, physical abuse, trauma, things like that. If that trauma continues through later childhood, it only increases the tendency for the borderline disorder to erupt later in life. So I was with a woman who, after being with her for weeks, and I had already fell in love and committed to the woman who was idealizing me, who I thought was the real person, or I should say, who I thought was the complete person. I came to find out a lot of things. One of them was that she had been sexually abused repeatedly, that she had gone through a lot of trauma. I picked up hints that she had been severely neglected, and other things. So I had that when I went to go look, and when somebody said, here's what causes borderline, I went, oh, that explains it. They sometimes will become very addictive, but they're not addicts in the same way that normal alcoholics and drug addicts are. That's a whole different disease. That is an incurable disease. If they have this they can actually cure themselves of their addiction because they're not addicted for the same reasons. They have this because they did not create a sense of self and identity. They have nothing inside them. It's just this huge black hole of insecurity. That's why they have magical thinking. That's why they are so intuitive. That's why they're constantly trying to predict who's going to say what and what you're feeling at any given moment, and why they react to what they think you're feeling. Because they have no sense of self, they have no ability to tolerate somebody having a feeling, positive or negative, if it doesn't serve them. Especially negative feelings, they have no ability to tolerate their own negative feelings because they don't have a sense of self to go, that's okay, I'm sad today, I'm angry today, I'm scared today, it'll be all right. They never got that from mom and dad, or they were even worse, abused because of that, and so now they're just constantly in this continuous state of terror and fear, fearing rejection and criticism. This is happening lots of times unconsciously. They may be very high functioning. They may present themselves very good and be able to interact extremely well. Many of them are extremely charming and intelligent and engaging and very exciting and very attractive. And so it can be very deceptive. So this is what borderline is. They go through phases of they love you or they hate you. And they are scared to death of intimacy, even though it's the thing they want most, because they didn't get that. So they love it for the first few weeks, and then the fear kicks in, and they will very violently and aggressively and destructively sabotage the intimacy and blame you for it. They'll make it your fault, and you will be demonized and attacked because of their fear of rejection. They're projecting it onto you. They have no idea that they're doing it. That's the most important thing. They're not psychopaths. They're sociopaths, but they're not psychopaths, and they're not narcissists. They are narcissistic, but they are not narcissists. Narcissists plan your demise. They know you are an object, and they are planning to set you up and con you and steal from you. Borderlines don't do that. They are manipulative, but they do it in the same way a 2-year-old manipulates. It's coming from an honest desire to engage and connect. And the harm that they cause is not conscious, and it's not intentional. They have no desire to harm you. They probably, to the best of their ability, love you. But because they only have the emotional development in relationships to the extent of a 2-year-old, they are not capable of understanding the damage that they cause. All they know, just like a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old will whine and scream, and they don't care. They pinch and scratch. They don't care how much they hurt you. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, the first time I was with her, the first time we were making out, she grabbed me with her nails and dug them in. I'm like, whoa, what the hell was that all about? That should have told me something. They're just like little kids in that regard. They're just as capricious as little kids. Okay? They go with whatever feeling is flowing through them at the moment. So they're not evil. They're just really, really, really emotionally unformed. And psychologically, and I'm sure there's some brain chemistry stuff in there as well. They have not been completed. So they're not completely human in that sense. They're not completely formed. They have a mental illness. You need to understand that if you're going to be with them. So what was the thing we were going to talk about today? I was going to talk about something really important about them. I guess I want to say, if you have borderline and you've listened this far, if you have borderline, there is a really good chance that you can get recovery. But you have to get targeted recovery for it with a qualified psychologist who knows how to give you the proper things to help you get better. Just like any other disease, you can get help. You might even be cured. There are people who have cured themselves of it and been cured as a result of therapy. But the woman I was with, I'm absolutely convinced there's no hope for this woman unless she gets therapy. And that's why she finally broke it off, because I gave her an ultimatum. And she ultimately used that against me and decided not to get therapy. So I had no choice but to leave. I didn't have a choice anyway. She was breaking up with me, as they do. There was something I wanted to share in this video. I can't remember what it was. I want to focus on I guess, since I'm feeling it, I want to focus on your confusion. Because what will happen if you're with them is that you will become extremely confused, and you may even start to lose your sanity. And what I've found is that borderline is a communicable disease. If you, especially in the beginning when you don't understand what is going on, and if you feel like you're going crazy, you're catching their disease. Because again, everything is a projection. Psychological projection means that somebody is projecting onto others what they are experiencing on an unconscious level. For instance, like people who cheat, like serial cheaters in dating relationships, they're always wanting to look at your texts and accusing you of cheating on them. That's their projection, because they feel guilty about their projection on an unconscious level. They are sure you're cheating on them. Borderlines will project onto you what their internal state is. Because they don't have a sense of self, they don't know who they are, And like a 2-year-old who is in constant danger, they have this anxiety within them and this fear of abandonment and fear of insecurity. They may not even be conscious of that. They may even say, yes, I'm this really great person and I'm this and I'm that. And the woman I was with was really full of herself in a lot of ways. And in some ways it was like, well, some of that's true, but not to that extent. Of course, I never said that. But what they will begin to project onto you is their feeling of having no value, no sense of worth. They're unlovable. They're constantly afraid of rejection. You will then, because they're constantly rejecting you in ways that don't make sense, and then coming back and loving you and rejecting you and loving you and rejecting you in ways that you've never experienced before, you won't understand why it's happening or how it's happening. You will become addicted to the phase of when they are idolizing you, and you will stay for that, the experience of when they love you and idolize you, and for all that, that innocent 2-year-old childhood. Just that's what's great about little kids. When they love you, then they're giving you attention. They're just so, all the innocence and beauty of them, they're like that. And so it will confuse you when they go from that to coldly and instantly rejecting you in the coldest, cruelest way that you can't imagine. And you will honestly think you did something wrong, because no normal person would do that. That person who was so loving to me and so beautiful and so kind and so amazing, why? I must have done something. There must be something wrong with me. And then you will carry with you throughout the relationship this insecurity. And so the obsession 24 hours a day will be, are they thinking about me? Are they thinking good thoughts? Is she going to break up with me today? Or does she love me today? When the phone rings, my heart would skip a beat and I would sweat. Not only because I was afraid of rejection, but because of not knowing what it was going to be. Because it was just as traumatic for me to have her instantly love me for no reason as it was to hate me for no reason. It was such a trauma. The lack of not knowing what was going to happen was, I was becoming a borderline. I started to see, oh my God, I'm becoming a borderline. So you will catch their disease if you're with them long enough. And it can destroy your life. And again, what's happening is they're projecting their chaos and pain and misery and anxiety and fear onto you. They are acting it out onto you. The way that they are acting towards you is how they were treated as a tiny baby. So know that you are experiencing all that. So you're not crazy. And in other videos I've explained it, but you cannot fix them. You cannot help them. Whatever help you do give them is transitory. It won't hold. Whatever love you give them that they reflect back, you're the best person in the world, it won't hold. And no matter how much they want to love you, they won't be able to. So you're not crazy. Don't worry. Don't stay, because you're not going to be the one to help them. The best thing you can do is say, listen, you're really hurting me. You have borderline personality disorder. I'm leaving. Go get help. That's really the best and kindest thing you can do for them. I recommend you do that. Unless they go get therapy and you guys go to therapy together, that's a whole different ballgame. But without therapy, and they're like committed to their therapy, which again, borderline committing to anything, good luck with that. If they're committed to their therapy and they're doing it, that's a different thing. But if they're untreated and they don't want to get treatment, don't waste your time. Get out. And then go get help yourself, because you're going to need it.